Oh, sorry about that. My video cut out. It ran out of memory. I'm trying to remember where I was. Okay, so if I was going to bone the actual bodice, I would sew channels into these pieces before I attach them to the actual fabric. And then obviously you don't have any channels showing on the outside of your bodice on the actual fabric. But because I'm wearing it over a fully boned corset, and because I've tested it with my mock-up and I can see that there are no points of stress in the fabric or wrinkling, it fits just right, I'm going to risk not boning it to save time. I may well regret that bitterly later, but I'm not going to bone the bodice. I am going to bone the stomacher, and these pieces of fabric here don't include the stomacher itself. I'm going to make the bodice first, get all of that sorted, and then make the stomacher to check the fit over the bodice. So the next steps, now that I've cut all of this out, and obviously the sleeves aren't here, the sleeves I'm going to have to do separately, obviously, is I need to attach these two pieces of fabric together in such a way that they don't move around when underneath the actual fabric itself, so that it stays all smooth and crisp. And the benefit of using this technique is that because the seam will effectively be along the exact edge of that canvas, when it's put together, it's got a little bit more internal structure, and it makes the seams, the outs, when you have the finished garment, it makes the seams look really crisp and lovely, and it makes it a lot less likely that fabric that is this thin and light wrinkles and falls apart, because it's got some internal structure from this. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to sew just straight lines, just the length along the grain of the fabric. Then once those are done, I press it with the iron to make sure that it's all kind of flush and flat and everything. And then I do a zigzag stitch all the way around the edge to stop any movement between those two pieces of fabric. Then they effectively become one piece of fabric. Then when those are done, I will use this little bit of fabric here to show you. Let's imagine that I've done all of my stitching on this piece. Then I'll lay them out together. Obviously I'll line that up better when I come to sew it. And then within that seam allowance, just 1 centimetre in, I stitch all the way round to make it into one piece of fabric made out of 3 layers. Okay? So I'm going to go off and do that now, and I will come back later when all of these are stitched together. Oh, incidentally, the stomacher here, you can see that there's no seam allowance at the top and the bottom. That's because this is a weird kind of bodice design. These two pieces are not going to be on show, and I didn't want to have any bulky kind of seam allowance stuff going on at the top, because this piece is going to sit behind the stomacher. So I thought, I'm just going to do straight across the top. That is where it's going to be the actual edge on my body, so that there's less fabric to have to try and kind of tuck into facings and all that kind of stuff, because I want this to be as invisible as possible when I'm actually wearing it, because it will be covered by the stomacher. I have no idea if this makes any sense, but hopefully it's giving you an insight into the process that I'm using to make this outfit. Once all of these are done as well, I need to do a check for fit for the sleeves, because the sleeves are a closer fit, a tighter fit on the upper arm than I usually wear. So I need to adapt my sleeve pattern and reduce the crown. So I'll make a pink version of that and try that with this bodice probably, or my mock-up one, I haven't decided yet. And then there's all the happy fun and games of the skirt and underskirt, and then the over dress skirts, the sack back thingy. It's just all very silly. Oh my God, I've got 2 weeks to do this. Okay, right. Speak to you soon.